It's Gary with your BBC Tees, with you each and every afternoon between 4 and 6. Just keep you up to date with what's going on in our neck of the woods. Now, some troubling news from the steel industry broke a little earlier today. Now, the future of 700 jobs in Lackenby and Skinning Grove have been thrown into doubt after it emerged a deal to buy out British Steel has fallen through. Now, Turkey's Atta Holdings was granted exclusive access to British Steel's books in August after the company collapsed into liquidation. But it's failed to agree terms. Now, looking across all of this and keeping us up to date with stuff is Andy Bell, and he joins me in the studio now. Good afternoon to you, Andy.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So what's been happening?
Well, since May, British Steel has been kept running by the government as it seeks a buyer for the business. Now, the failure to agree a deal with Atta puts 5,000 UK jobs directly at risk, as well as a further 20,000 in the supply chain. Atta has until tomorrow to maintain its 10-week exclusive access to the company's books as it attempts to strike a deal to buy the company. Now, after that, the government will open the process to other bidders, though Atta is understood to have not ruled out making a bid for the company.
So what reaction has there been to this news?
Yeah, well, Chris McDonald is the chief executive of the Materials Processing Institute right here on Teesside. Now, it works with global steel and materials industries to carry out research and innovation. Mr. McDonald says the steel industry is vital to the local and UK economy.
My immediate concern is for the workforce and the community around the British Steel plant and this increasing uncertainty. I've worked in the steel industry for 20 years and I've been in this position where my job was at risk, and I know what the impact that has on individuals and on their families as well. So that's who we're thinking of all the time. If we were to look at this from a Teesside perspective, we know in Teesside we've got some really good mills, and there will be people interested in the mills in Skinning Grove and at Lackenby. So I think the people working there can have confidence. But equally, we worry about our colleagues who are based down in Scunthorpe, and we really hope the solutions found for the Scunthorpe works as well.
So a mixed bag there of confidence and worry. And he talked about how vital the industry is here on Teesside. So I asked Mr. McDonald what the consequence would be if a solution to this apparent deal collapse didn't materialise.
British Steel uniquely provides steels that support our infrastructure development. So we talk about projects like HS2 or the new runway at Heathrow. That steel comes from British Steel. And the alternative for the UK would be to import those steels from other countries. If we do that, that will mean that we'll offshore our manufacturing, but it also means we'll do it at a higher cost of carbon as well. So the most environmentally friendly way to make steel is to make it in the UK rather than to import it. And so it's bad for our climate and it's bad for our economy if we lose British Steel.
Now, you'd hope that the talent and infrastructure that we have here will transfer to a tangible result for British Steel, and a new deal can be found, you would hope.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the hope. We know that the skills that are needed are here. I asked Mr. McDonald how optimistic he is about all of this, and he admitted there are real challenges from this point.
I think what we need to think about is that Atta Holdings was unusual in that it wanted to buy the entire British Steel. There were other companies that wanted to pick up parts of the assets, but they wanted to take the whole business. And we shouldn't underestimate how difficult it'll be to find somebody else to come in to take that role. I think that's got to be the top priority, to find someone to do that. There could be other players out there. So there are other names that have been mentioned in the press recently, and we've got to redouble efforts to bring those to the table.
It's expected that Liberty House could rekindle an interest. Do you have any insight into the likelihood of that?
Well, I don't have any insider knowledge, but clearly Liberty House is a really fast-growing steel company. They've made acquisitions in Australia, in Eastern Europe and in North America in the last 12 months. So certainly if I was sitting in government, I'd be picking up the phone to Sanjeev Gupta and asking if he was interested. But also we know that Hebei Steel from China is interested as well. I mean, personally, from my perspective, I'd rather see a UK owner take this business and that we could invest in it as a UK business. But I don't know if we'll have the luxury of that. I think what we need is an owner with a solid plan for investment.
Now, here at BBC Tees, we're closely monitoring the situation with British Steel, and if there's any developments, we'll bring it your way as soon as we can, here on your station, BBC Tees.
Gary Phillipson on BBC Tees.